And the first season is going to be centered around your own transformation.
Yes.
Ooh, and it's like, bang, bang.
Hello and welcome to Dylan's Deep Cuts, a podcast mini-series where I and my best mate and manager, Megan, go into detail about how I remade some of my old music after coming out as transgender and transitioning. Just a little note, this episode contains explicit language. In this episode, we'll be looking at my song, Off My Brain.
So going back to 2019, that's when the original Lots version came out.
Yes.
But when did you write this track? Like, what was going on at the time for Lots?
I had written that track during a breakup. I was sat one evening alone in my flat in London, and I was sat at my piano and I looked across out at the world at London, all the neon lights and everyone just sort of buzzing around doing their thing, work gossip, people having a laugh in the street. And all I could think about was where my girlfriend was. Essentially, I was losing my partner, right? And I didn't really know how to deal with that. And I was drinking a lot and I was writing a lot of music and I just sat at my piano and I just played these opening chords. And it just, I don't know, most of the words just kind of fell out. And it was just this like truth of, I cannot seem to stop thinking about you, even though I'm trying. I'm genuinely trying to think about other things, but every time it brings me back to you. So it was like a very open, painful, truthful song about not being able to, like the anguish of not being able to release someone from your mind.
And it's actually really funny because this often happens, isn't it? When we try and make a music video concept, we'll come up with the same concept. Yeah. But going back to what you said about, you're looking out the window, the lights, the dark, whatever. Like, that's exactly, I remember hearing it for the first time, and that is exactly what I envisaged. It's something about like the chords. It's something about this almost like jazzy, bluesy thing. So how does it work for you? Like when you're writing something like that, musically, you've got these words in your head, you've got this feeling in your head. What comes first? Like, to me, it's so cohesive when you listen to it.
Yeah.
Like, is it okay? Dun, and then you've got lyrics straight away. Like how?
It kind of depends on the song. Like if you were to ask me about different songs, this might not be the answer. But usually I would say the songs that resonate the most with other people, I would then say that they're my better songs. And so in that, the better songs that I think I have are the ones where there are those thoughts floating around in my mind and I can't get them out. And what I do is I pick up an instrument, I play a chord, and then for some reason that is how I can sort of expel all of that information. So in those songs, I am like desperate to release these feelings. I pick up and I play the right chord, and when you hit that right chord, the right words just seem to come out. So this one I sort of wrote like as a whole piece. If you're listening to that opening chord progression, it tells the story before I have to. Exactly.
That's what I mean. And it's almost like you did just sit at the piano. It was just like, here it is, and it's already a song, and it just comes out. Like that's, the what I call the like part B part of the chorus.
Yeah.
The ooh, and it's like bang, bang,
it's a
there
stab.
you go again.
Yeah.
And it's just like that to me. It's like, okay, you've got the chorus, and then you've just taken me to like church, like you've like extended this. Was that something that came later as part of the writing of it? Like, did you just write quite, okay, I've got the mood, I've got the verse, I've got like the chorus, and then were you like, okay, I need to enhance this with this part?
The actual chorus that I came up to begin with was similar melody, but it was, and all these crazy things I've been doing, trying to get you off my mind, trying to get you off my brain. But for me, it didn't land. Like, I just knew that wasn't the chorus that belonged to this song. And that's when I find that there is this imaginary line between the songwriter and songs that already may exist somewhere. And that sounds like kooky or whatever, but it's almost as if you know whether that chorus belongs to this song, and if it isn't, it does exist out there somewhere, and you're just trying to find it.
Right.
So for me, it feels like choruses and verses and lyrics already are completed, and I'm just trying to locate them. And so I came up with this, and I was like, that doesn't belong here. And then I went back to the keys, and I was like, what is it? and then I sat down again, and I came up with, I can't seem to get you off my goddamn mind. And then I just knew it wasn't finished. And to be honest, I'm not alright. I was like,
and then
because I can see to get you off my, it wasn't done. And there you go again.
Yeah.
I wanted to demonstrate to the listener how beautiful that she was, as well as being fucking annoying.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, so, and there you go again, you knobhead. Ooh, being so beautiful. I can't seem to get you out of my head, because it is that feeling. And I think so many people listening to this will be like, I've been there. You know, like when, you know, you've broken up with this person and you don't want them there, but at the same time you remember all of their gorgeousness too. It's that pain of like, I want you there, but I don't.
It's funny because I think lyrically, for me, I actually didn't know that was a situation of a relationship that's about to go. I thought, when I listen to it, I think like it's you've broken up with someone and you're just seeing them everywhere. Like that's what I thought it was about.
Well, that was it. I was imagining the way I was going to feel,
right?
Because I knew it was going to happen.
Which is mad though. Like, surely to get something that really, really relates to such a spectrum of people in really deep relationships have actually like gone through the breakup, not imagining the breakup. Like, where did you draw? What personal experiences did you draw upon with that?
I don't know. I watch a lot of rom-coms. I don't know. Either I watch a lot of rom-coms or I listen to a lot of like Billy Joel. And I guess that probably was something I was listening to at the time, which is maybe why it has that jazzy, piano-y feel to it. I find myself to be, whether it's unfortunate or not, an empathetic person, whether I like it or not. So if I'm watching a rom-com, my heart will break. My heart will be, so I can step into those shoes and be like, wow, wouldn't that be sad?
Yeah.
So I was writing this song already sad and thinking, wow, I'm going to be even more sad in a minute and it's going to feel like this.
Yeah, do you know what that would be kind of peak seeing someone that looked like them on the overground westbound, like, and
of all the places.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what I mean?
It is the most painful one.
Yeah. But no, I love it. Yeah, it's a good song.
When you said you were wasted, drinking drunk on my life, tried to cook on yourself in my body, falling into my eyes. You couldnbe without me. You never wanted a good night, let alone a goodbye. Then you said we were changing, that it's not what you want. Not a single thing changed on my body, but I stopped turning you on. And when you said we were happy, were you telling me lies? 'Cause you're left with goodbye. And now I can't seem to get you off my goddamn mind. And to be honest, I'm not alright. And now I can't seem to get you off my goddamn brain. And to be honest, it's driving me insane. Because there you go again, and I can't seem to get you off my brain. On the east side of our town, there's a new liquor bar. I can see it from my window at night, and I think that's where you are. With somebody that's not me, with someone you think's cool. I hate a fictional fool. On the overground westbound, saw someone with your hair. In the street I smell perfume and dye. It's the one that you wear when I'm ordering coffee, and any day I go on. Is it all just a sign? Now I can't seem to get you off my goddamn mind. And to be honest, I'm not alright. But you ain't got a clue, I'm twisted about the way we used to be. You're entitled to a good life, and if it's not by my side, it's okay to change your mind. So why can't seem to get you off my goddamn mind? And to be honest, I'm not alright, because I can't seem to get you off my goddamn brain. And to be honest, it's driving me insane. Because there you go again, and I can't seem to get you off my brain.
You and I have spoken about this before, but talking about your voice and how that changed, bearing in mind you were writing and singing prior to your transition, what was going through your mind when you thought, okay, I'm going to start taking testosterone? Like, how is that going to affect my singing voice?
I got to a point in my life where I knew that I couldn't live another day being that unhappy, and I wanted just to become Dylan. And the crux of that for me was, you know, I'm going to have to go through this transition, which is fine, and my voice will change, which I want in my day-to-day life of like going to the shop, being seen as a man, all those things. But what I was not really 100% prepared for was what that would do to my singing voice, because there was just not really a lot of resources or research into that. And for me, it was this terror of like, this has been the one thing that I've been able to, you know, make friends over. Or I thought, you know, because I can sing, girls fancy me. Or because I can sing, people think I'm cool. Or and I got into music as a kid as one of those safety reasons, because I thought, I'm going to need a reason for people to like me, because if not, I'm just a fucking weird. And that was how I felt. Anyway, jump cut to Lots, who was just about to... had already transitioned, actually, but I changed my name to Dylan, and I was going to jump on testosterone. But I remember being sat in my house at my piano, and I had put on this version of Off My Brain, and this song specifically was the most painful, because I listened to it, and again, throughout this whole process I was recording myself a lot, and I mean video recording, and I remember wanting just to talk about how this song meant a lot to me, but instead I just burst into fucking tears, because I heard that falsetto chorus come up, and all that I could think of was, what if I can never do that again? And that thing gave me so much freedom, because singing in that falsetto range for me always feels like I'm flying. And that sounds really random, but when I'm on stage or in my room, if I'm like singing and I reach those notes, for me it feels like I'm soaring through the world. And the idea of like putting a ceiling on myself or changing my voice irreversibly so that I couldn't do that anymore was really scary. And I just thought, if I might lose I don't know what the quality is, but there's something in my voice that people like, and I thought I might lose it for good. But I had to change, and like there was I had to put music second for once.
As you said, it just comes so natural to you. Like, how much work did that take, or was it natural? Like, to get back to the point where you're like, okay, I'm a good singer. Like, I haven't been affected.
Do you mean after my transition?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the whole thing was kind of a bit of a shit show, as you probably remember. Like, how we were voice noting and stuff, and there were some days. It's like, to anyone out there who doesn't really know a lot about it, me going through this vocal transition, taking testosterone at 27, I can't remember how old I was, at that age, is the exact same as like a teenage boy going through transition, going through their voice dropping for the first time. So if you take yourself back to school where like lads were having that squeaky thing happen every now and again, that was happening to me at like 28, 27. So it was hard enough just to speak sometimes without knowing how it was going to sound. And then, you know, through that whole period, I was doing a lot of shows, a lot of gigs, and it was really scary, because I would get on stage not knowing whether the song I'm about to perform I'll even be able to sing. And I was having to transpose ahead of time on the fly, like, can I play this song in this key? And a lot of times I couldn't, and it was quite embarrassing on stage because my voice just wasn't able to function.
Right.
However, it was like, just get out of the woods like I had to go through this year and a half of where I just didn't know where the fuck I was or what my voice was doing. But post that, I have now been able to retrain my voice back. And spoiler alert, everyone, I can falsetto again.
Yes.
And I can hit those notes, like maybe not all of them and maybe not quite in the same way, but I've managed to train my voice back so that I can do that, because it's not out of the realm for men to be able to do it. Like Justin Timberlake, like always, and Pharrell Williams always used like falsetto and stuff, but I didn't know personally whether I would take away that from myself, whether it would stop me. But fortunately, you know, here we are 2024 and I've managed to retrain most of my voice back.
Choosing Off My Brain as the song to do an actual full duet with lots, right? Like it's not just a backing vocal part that appears on some of the other re-recorded versions. It is an actual duet. Like what was the thought behind doing that then?
This song for me was the most impactful in that way. Like it made me cry the most, it made me question my decisions the most, it made me think about the future the most. So for me, this was the pinnacle song that that stayed with me throughout my journey. And to be able to duet with Lots on this song actually feels like an honor. Like it feels like an honor to me to be able to do that. So yeah, this one it resonated really hard with me. And because Lots' voice on this track sounds so free to me and beautiful, I love that I'm able to do it.
So if we're talking like lyrically then about the track and the sentiment behind it, when you came to re-record it and duet with the Lots version, did the track meaning take on any new meaning?
Yeah, well, it's funny because, you know, like I've already said, the original version of this song was written because I was having this breakup and I couldn't get my ex-girlfriend off my brain at that time. But when I was recording this new version, and whenever I listen to it now, even, or when we were recording the music video together, all I can see and hear is the idea, which was so true, that Lots at the time couldn't get Dylan off their mind. Like, I remember being, you know, I was there. I was 25 and 24 and 23, being me, thinking about wanting to be someone else. I wanted to be me now. So now when I hear the song, instead of it being about a breakup, it's just about like an old version of me wanting to be this new version of me, and not like Lots not being able to get Dylan off the brain, really, which is like, it's mad, really. Yeah,
I think, you know, after hearing that, as a listener, I think it just takes on a whole new depth.
Yeah, it's painful and beautiful, and I think that's what I like about it. And I don't know if anyone else will hear the same things as I do, but for me, when I listen to it, it's painful and beautiful. And just hearing my voice now in the chorus being surrounded by the old Lots version, it's like this evident proof of what I've been able to do with my life and bring it to this point. So for me, it's like so, like, it just means so much to me because I've done something that I've wanted to do since I was a child, and I've actually made it realize in my life.
I think it's actually really interesting as well. Like, I wonder if you heard this track, the duet, right, on the radio and knew nothing about you. I know, the thing is, I know everything about you.
Unfortunately for you.
But I still, without you having to explain things, like, art is there, you know, it's up to the viewer, the listener, whoever that is, to make up their mind about what it is. Like, listening to why you created it, but then the new levels that it's taken on after, that obviously enhances the art. But I personally think, as a listener, if you hear that, and you've got to sort of like, I don't know, just forget everything you know if you do know you.
Yeah.
I think it's still magical without knowing really everything that you've just described. I think there is something else about this that doesn't just come across as, oh, that's a male and female.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for us to step away and know.
Yeah.
I would be very curious, actually, now that you've brought that up. I hadn't ever thought about it, but I would love to know of someone who doesn't know my music or my story, if they were to hear this for the first time, whether they would be like, yeah, well, it's like a dude and a girl singing a song together. It's kind of nice. Or whether they would be like, is that the same person? Probably not, because you probably wouldn't assume that. But I wonder whether they would be able to hear something. Hopefully.
Yeah.
When you said you were wasted, drinking drunk all my life, tried to cocoon yourself in my body, falling into my eyes. You couldn't be without me. You never wanted a good night, let alone a goodbye. Then you said we were changing, that it's not what you want. Not a single thing changed on my body, but I stopped turning you on. And when you said we were happy, were you telling me lies? 'Cause you left with goodbye. And now I can't seem to get you off my goddamn mind. And to be honest, I'm not alright. And now I can't seem to get you off my goddamn brain. And to be honest, it's driving me insane. Because there you go again, and I can't seem to get you off my brain. On the east side of our town, there's a new liquor bar. I can see it from my window at night, and I think that's where you are. With somebody that's not me, with someone who thinks cool. I hate a fictional fool. On the overground westbound, saw someone with your hair. In the street I smell perfume and dye. It's the one that you wear. When I'm ordering coffee, and any date I go on, is it all just a sign? And now I can't seem to get you off my goddamn mind. And to be honest, I'm not alright. And now I can't seem to get you off my goddamn brain. And to be honest, it's driving me insane. Because there you go again, and I can't seem to get you off my brain. I'm blaming you from a distance, but you ain't doing this to me. But you ain't got a clue I'm twisted about the way we used to be. You're entitled to a good life, and if it's not by my side, it's okay, you change your mind. So I can't seem to get you off my goddamn mind. And to be honest, I'm not alright. 'Cause I can't seem to get you off my goddamn brain. And to be honest, it's driving me insane. Because there you go again, and I can't seem to get you off my brain.
So you mentioned that obviously recording this track as a duet was painful, well, just generally emotional in so many different ways. But the thing is, you took this to the next level, didn't you? Like recently, like
Always taking things too far.
yeah, taking it to the next
Taking
level.
it too far.
And what I'm talking about is you doing this live. Now, this duet has made its way into your live set. Like, why don't you explain to listeners that weren't there at the show what you did and how you teed this up?
Well, it's always been like a fan favorite, this song, and I love performing it. But because I knew I was releasing this version as a duet, I was just like, well, if I'm going to release it this way, why not give that as a visual audio experience at my shows? So, my band obviously were on board with this to happen, but we stood on the stage, and for anyone that was in the audience, I basically said, I'm going to perform a song of mine. I think you guys know it. It's called Off My Brain. And everyone was like, yeah, I can't wait. And then I said, I'm going to invite someone really special to the stage. And, the room went quiet. And then the band start playing. I sing the first bit of the verse. And I think everyone's sort of like looking at the door, looking at me, looking at the door, looking at me, waiting like, who the hell is this going to be? And then all of a sudden, Lots comes through the speakers. And I use my old voice in the live show. And I just stand there in the spotlight doing nothing apart from just listening like everyone else was. And it was such an incredible experience for me to be able to perform live with my odd self. Like, it was insane.
I mean, so yeah, but that happening, right? So I knew that was going to happen, and I was in the audience, and we'd spoken about it, and it was going to happen. I think, and this is no word of a lie, I think to this day, that is probably the most emotional, like 0 to 60, that's something that I was even expecting, like just rushed over me, and I was in absolute tears. And I think actually, like, listening to everything that you described about the making of the song and going back and doing that, and I don't know, like hearing Lots' voice, I knew Lots. I was there. We were making music. We were working together when you recorded that, and it was almost like, and I said this to you before, like it's almost like I wanted to go back in time and be like, I'm gonna give you a hug, like it's gonna be okay, like, but at the same time just going, oh my god, like this is amazing, look, you are like 100,000,000% you, but also then on the flip being like, god, I didn't realize that you were so much not you. Do you know what I mean?
I think for everyone in the room, including me, it was the time when there was only a millisecond between me and Lots, but in reality there had been 4 years, right? Or three, however long that transition was at that point. But in that moment on that stage, there was a millisecond apart from me and Lots, and you could see and hear them both so close. And because it wasn't just a recording, it wasn't just like an Instagram post or something, it was live. It was the closest we'd ever been. Me and Lots, I mean.
I mean, like that is exactly how, that is like literally exactly how I felt.
So you had the two emotions as close together as possible. Like the dichotomy of, I feel amazing because you're you.
Yeah.
I feel so sad because you were you and you weren't that happy. Like,
right. And I think, but do you know what is weird about it? And I can't really put it into words, and hopefully I can articulate this. And I wonder if you feel the same, and probably way more than I do right now. It's almost like you are talking or hearing two people that are very present there at the same time, right? And it is almost like you've gone, this absolute pro, Lots, is going to come on and smash this verse. Do you know what? It's almost like I was like, yeah, hit it, Lots, that's it. But as well, do you know what I mean? Even though it is you.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. It's like I trusted Lots implicitly with absolutely slaying that verse. But it was pre-recorded. Do you know what I mean?
Of course I was going to, yeah.
But it's just nuts.
Weird.
Yeah. So when you were on stage though, what was going through your head? Like, bearing in mind you hadn't actually done this live before. You'd been in the recording studio. You had been at home. You'd been playing it. You'd been listening back to the old recordings and had found that really emotional. But then you are at a headline show with hundreds of people looking at you, and are you like just going, oh my god, how the hell am I going to react?
Do you know what? I wasn't thinking about how am I going to react. It was more, I hope I remember the words. Like, do you know? I know that sounds really silly, but it's like, I didn't care how I was going to react. I didn't care if I broke down and cried. I didn't care if I was gleaming with joy. I didn't care if I made everyone in the room cry or whether they weren't asked. It was like, I didn't care about that. It's just I wanted to perform it so perfectly well. And the worst thing for me would have been like forgetting a lyric or something. And I wanted it to be this performance, not like of a lifetime. Like, it wasn't that. I wanted that moment to go the way I wanted it to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah, I mean, it did.
did.
Like, the majority of people were crying through probably just feeling very similar ways, whether they had known you and known lots or known just you as Dylan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
there was a variety of people there as well, weren't there? Like, there was some people, the technicians. Who we had met that day, like some of the sound crew and some of the bar staff, who had no fucking idea who I was or my story.
No.
Who we'd spoken to afterwards, like, oh wow, like when you did that, I had to leave the room. Yeah. Like, and I think that was quite cool to have an array of people. And you know, in amongst that, there were some people. Well, my sister was there, like, and my godfather was there as well at that show, who had known me since I was a dot. And then there were like other fans who have known me since the very beginning of my career, who followed me, like, praise the Lord for them, absolute legends, who have been there for the whole journey. So there was this whole mixture of people, but like everyone felt something, and that's all I ever want to do with my music. And I don't really care what it is you feel. I just want you to feel something. Yeah,
I mean, you hadn't prefaced anything about your journey throughout that entire show, so it was up to literally whether the audience knew you or like forever or didn't, right? So to do that, and just the feeling that came over the audience. Like, some people, because at the end you were like, yeah, for those of you that have no idea what the hell that was, and then you explain the story. And I think that's so powerful. Like, it's not like, you know, this selling point when you buy that ticket for the show. You know, it is something that you were like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And everyone just felt it, regardless of if they had the backstory or not. Yeah. And that is super powerful.
Thanks, mate.
Wow. So that was quite a roller coaster for episode 1. I think I learnt a lot. I'm feeling a lot now. I need to go for a lie down. But if you enjoyed that, there's way more where that came from.
Catch us next time when we dive into another one of my songs. Ooh. Thank you for listening to Dylan's Deep Cuts. Keep an ear out for more episodes in this series by hitting the follow button. And feel free to come find me online at Dylan and the Moon. Have a nice day.